everyone, back to the more YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a match preview for Newcastle United's next upcoming game. These are coming thick and fast. Honestly, I feel like I'm previewing and reviewing all the time. It's the Carabao Cup draw against Spurs. I need to say Carabao Cup final, fingers crossed. Carabao Cup draw against Spurs at St James's Park this Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. And this is potentially a much bigger game than some people may want to give it credit for. If Newcastle United win this game, they're going to get into a quarter-final of a cup competition that they won last season. We all remember it. We all remember what it did for the club. Remember what it did for the city. That did for the players, some players. But this is something that we can win again, and we need to try and win again. So I think Eddie Howe is going to go full strength in this game with maybe just the odd change, which I'll get stuck into in a second. If this is the kind of thing you guys like, smash subscribe, help get us to the next milestone. We're within under 200 to get to 12,000 subs. I've got a great price with 12,000 subscriber mark. So you got to be in it to win it. Smash the button, help get us there, guys. It's all free to do. So if you want to be a member, there is options down there below as well. We'll do some more member draws soon, I think, because we haven't done a lot of member draws. We'll do some of them soon as well. So you members, watch out. There'll be some nice merch and memorabilia coming your way. So let's get stuck into this. So Spurs under Thomas Frank this season, much better, much more improved than they were last season under Ange. They were terrible under Ange, even though they won a trophy of all things, but they were terrible. They were easy to beat. They were predictable. They were open. They were poor in so many stages. But under Frank, they've looked a lot better as well. They're much better in the Premier League than we have been to date. And they definitely look like they're going to be rivaling us for that top 5 space. I mean, we still need to get Ross and Gay in the Premier League to get up to that space. But cup competitions are different. We're going to get stuck into Spurs in a minute, but let's talk about how I think we are going to line up. So this is this team that I think Eddie Howe will go for. Now, I've only made one change there. So everything's the same. Pope, the back 4. I think the midfield, I think you'll bring in the power 3, if you want to call it. Tonali, Bruno, and Joe Linton. Even though Bruno said he was knackered against Fulham at the weekend, he said he was knackered, he scored the win and everything else. I think you'll want to play his main 3. Now, I would have no problem if Jacob Ramsey comes in here or Lewis Miley comes in here, no problem at all. I think both are good enough to play in this game and to get Newcastle the result. But I think what Eddie Howe will do with West Ham coming at the weekend, I think it's more likely, given the state of West Ham's form, they look like they're sinking quicker than the Titanic. I think I've seen DiCaprio hanging off the back of the West Ham badge. They're going down that quick. And I think you'll rotate against West Ham and you'll maybe bring in some of the players like Lewis Miley and Jacob Ramsey at the weekend, maybe not start them in this game. So I think you'll go with his power 3 in midfield. Now, up front, I've made a slight change there. So Jacob Murphy is definitely the starting right winger for me. Anthony Langer's cameo against Fulham, I think he maybe gets the start. And I think the reason he gets the start is because I've watched a couple of bits of Spurs this season. And even though they've got Van de Ven back there who's lightning quick, you can get at them with pace. They do like to push out. They like to flood the box as well when they've got crossing opportunities. I think we could catch them on the break. And I think Langer's pace would be a real dangerous thing to have in the starting lineup from the get-go. So I think Langer may get the nod on the right-hand side. Big Nick Energy in the middle and Anthony Gordon on the left. Now, he could easily swap that out and put Harvey Barnes in there. I think Harvey Barnes has had some good cameos. I think he's played really well when he's come on. The 2 goals he scored against Benfica, he took them so well, so clinically. Got in good positions as well when he come on against Fulham, caused problems. I could easily see him putting Barnes on the left-hand side. I hope he doesn't move Gordon into the middle as a striker and rest Big Nick, but I'd understand if he did it because it's a lot of football for Big Nick Baltimore to be playing right now, and we don't want to burn him out with big games to come. I think those kind of changes may come at the weekend against West Ham, who look like absolutely doomed at the moment. They really, really do. There was wide open to Sharon Stone's legs, as I always say, West Ham. So I think if changes are going to come in these 2 fixtures, I think they'll come against West Ham, not against Spurs, in a game that could get us in to the quarterfinals. So that's how I think we'll line up. And after looking at Spurs, I mean, they beat Everton 3-0 at the weekend there. The way they lined up, so they line up in a kind of a 4-2-3-1. They've got some really dangerous players. I mean, looking at their injury list in terms of preparation to this game, they are missing a lot of players. They're missing Romero, who's a right shithouse. Normally at the back, they're missing Doggy, who's a good full-back. Basuma, strong in midfield. Dominic Solanke has always got Gordon. Kulusevski's dangerous. They're missing all these players. James Maddison, I'm a big fan of Maddison as well. He can kind of be a bit inconsistent, but when he turns up, boy, he's a brilliant player, but he's got a really bad ACL injury, and he's not going to be available probably till next season, so he's out the whole season. So they are missing some players in this game, but they're still a really good side, and they've got good squad depth. So the way they lined up against Everton, they beat them 3-0. Everton had chances, mind you. They got in behind. Grealish got in behind. Beto had a really good chance for an overhead kick as well. They had a goal ruled out as well, I think from James Garner, I think it was. So Everton had chances, and I think that there is a way to get at this Spurs team, but they have got some very, very good players. So looking across the back, I really like Porro. He's a right little moany shithouse, but he's a really good overlapping fullback as well. And that concerns me a little bit in terms of the left-hand side with Dan Burn. I think that's why Joe Linton will start this game, to give him some protection from that overlap. And Brennan Johnson out there with the pace that he's got as well. He is so quick and so dangerous. And I think Thomas Frank will want to win this game because he'll want to get to a quarterfinal. He'll want to win the Carabao Cup, Thomas Frank. He'll want a trophy as the Spurs manager. He's really improved their league form, but he'll want silverware as well, because that's something that Ange will always have over him until he pops that cherry and wins it. So I think Spurs will go full tilt on this one as well. So they've got Kudus as well, who's been excellent since they signed him from West Ham. That's a player I think we really should have went for. So he's got 9 Premier League appearances, 1 goal, 5 assists. He's been brilliant for Spurs so far. He's quick. He can drop into space, good with his feet, good delivery of a cross as well. Very dangerous player. We're going to have to be on our toes to make sure we stop him. And Xavi Simons as well, who has the ability to do something out of nothing, and Johnson's pace as well. You've also got Spence on the other side, on the full back, who can overlap as well. And again, Alanga's pace may be required to come back and track back, but maybe Murphy gets the nod because of his defensive capabilities. It's really hard to guess what Howe was going to do in this particular game. I mean, I suppose the only thing they've got up front really is Kolo Muan. He's not really done much, touch wood. I don't want to curse the football god since he's been there. Watch him have a fucking blinder against us now Wednesday, but he's been pretty shit through the middle since they've signed him. He's done nothing really, no goals, nothing really like he's threatening for goals. In terms of what they got off the bench to maybe rotate that, they've got Matthias Tell, who can score goals. They've got Richarlison, who can be a nuisance as well. So they have got some depth in the squad there. So I do think this is going to be a difficult game for Newcastle. I really, really do. And I think that's where Eddie Howe will go full tilt. That midfield that they had against Everton of Paulina and Bentancur will probably be the same midfield that plays, especially given how Basuma is out injured. And then that's a physical midfield and good technically as well. So I think that's why you'll probably go for the power 3. I'm a huge fan of Lewis Miley, as you know, and I think he is getting more physical, but I think playing against 2 players like that may overawe him a little bit. But Jacob Ramsey could easily come in this team with his ability to find space. Watching Aston Villa, that's exactly where they struggled against Aston Villa. Morgan Rogers had space and scored. They found space in behind as well, with Marlon running at them. And then obviously the goal as well with I don't remember who it was. Was it what's he called? Buendia. That's it. Brand new as a B. Buendia with that goal, unbelievable pass from Matty Cash, tucked back inside. So you can catch this Spurs team out when they get a little bit excited and flood up the pitch and overlap. And I think with Van de Ven, he used to hate playing against Isak. Isak would turn him inside out for pace. But I think Nick Voldemort is a very different player. He's going to pull Van de Ven into him and pull him into more of a physical battle, spin off of him and try and get our wingers into play. And that's not the kind of player Van de Ven probably wants to play against. He is quicker than Voldemort, so we have to make sure we play the ball to Voldemort's feet with his back to goal so he can try and win those free kicks, as long as it's not Peter Banks refereeing. Try and win those free kicks in dangerous areas for it to exploit. But it's a very different prospect for Van de Ven than Alexander Isak was. And Danzo's a bit more physical, so he might stick on Voldemort as well. But in terms of the pace, if Alanga's playing, Van de Ven will naturally be attracted to Alanga for his pace. Not that Spencer's a slouch either, but he'll be looking to obviously check in case Alanga gets the best of Spence, and he'll be coming across the cover. So that could create space for, say, Bruno Guimaraes to get into the edge of the box and do what he's done against Forest, what he did against Fulham at the weekend as well, in terms of getting goals there. So this is not going to be an easy game for Newcastle at all. I think Spurs are a really, really good side at the moment, a really, really good side. And for me, they're a team that play good football. They can play out from the back as well. They can press you high. It's not an easy game, this at all. We've seen some great performances from Thomas Frank's men this season. We've also seen some patchy ones as well, where they give the ball away. A bit like us, really, I suppose. But they're sitting 3rd in the Premier League for a reason, and we're sitting 12th for a reason as well. But this isn't the Premier League. This is a cup competition, and I think at home, under the lights, midweek game, St James's Park, the place will be rocking. We've got an unbelievable record against Spurs at St James's Park. That's something that can hopefully give our players confidence to perform. We've got some tired legs in that side that I've just put up there, though, but they need to give it their all in this game, because if you win this game, you're into a quarter-final, and you're only a couple of games away from another final at Wembley. And boy, imagine winning the Carabao Cup 2 seasons back-to-back. Some fans might scoff at it. Some former players might scoff at it. for Newcastle United, if we win a cup 2 seasons on the trot, I don't care if it's the same cup, that's an amazing achievement for Newcastle United. And that shows the level of progression that we're under as a football club. 70 years without a trophy, if you get 2 in 2 years, my God, what a progress that is. But this is not going to be an easy game. Eddie could easily rotate this. He could bring Ramsdale in. He could bring Lewis Miley and Ramsey into midfield. He could play Murphy on the right instead of Belanga like I've done. He could put Gordon through the middle and put Barnes on the left for Orlando just to try and rotate players and rest legs. But I think this game is probably the more difficult game out of the two, with West Ham on the weekend. And that's no disrespect to West Ham. I like West Ham as a club, to be fair. I like West Ham fans as well. We've had some good engagements on this channel, interactions on this channel with West Ham fans as well in the past. It's a tough time they're going through. They got all the marks of a relegation team. We've been there as Newcastle United. I can smell that when I see it. People arguing with each other, people not doing the jobs they're meant to do, signings not making impacts, all those kind of things are a horrible, horrible sign for West Ham. And, I don't know when they're going to pull this out, if they're going to pull this out. It could possibly be a really bad season for West Ham. But that game at the minute, with everything going against West Ham, is the kind of game that we would fancy more than this Spurs game midweek. So I think that's where Eddie will probably go for the class lads, as the True Faith crew say, on the Wednesday night, and maybe rotate on the Sunday for West Ham. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the starting lineup, what you think about this game as well. Who's the Spurs danger man for you? Who are you worried about? I'm worried about Kudus. I'm really worried about Brennan Johnson's pace against Dan Burn as well. That concerns me. You would be tempted to go 3 at the back, but we don't have anybody really play left wing backs. That's the issue. So there is real threats in that Spurs team. So I'm very, very concerned about it. But I do fancy Newcastle to get the job done. It's going to be a tight one, but I think Newcastle win the game 2-1. And we go through to the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the lineup, about the opposition, and about my predicted score. Do you agree? What's your score going to be? Do you think we're going to win? Or do you think we're going to lose? Always like to hear from you. Remember to like and subscribe. Keep it evermore. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with the live post-match on Wednesday. You never know. I may even get what. Come and join me, and we'll have a good chat together about hopefully another Newcastle United victory and getting through to the quarterfinals of the competition we won last season. Have a belt, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.